Hi, this is Julian from Indoxa. This training lesson is about argument step strength and how this is modified by evidence statements. The strength of an argument step is represented by the length of the purple bar. If the argument step is strong, it's going to have a big effect on its conclusion. A strong pro-argument will make its conclusion true. A strong con argument will make it false. In this case, the conclusion is made true by the argument. If you try to change the truth value of this conclusion statement to false, the statement will be conflicted. The statement becomes grayed out. In this case, the argument step is trying to make its conclusion true, but the user is saying that it's false. And that's not a coherent position that you can take. An evidence statement is a statement that is not necessary for the argument step to function, so it's not a premise, but it can affect the strength of the argument step. So I'm going to connect this evidence statement to this argument step by clicking on the link and then clicking on the argument type box. This is a supporting statement and it supports against this critical question. So we see that the supporting statement strengthens the argument step. The purple bar gets longer. We can also undermine an argument step using an evidence statement. So I'm going to connect this statement which will undermine this argument step. It undermines it against this critical question. So this evidence statement has defeated this argument step, and the purple bar has gone to 0. Now that the argument step is defeated, it no longer has any effect on its conclusion. That means I can change the truth value of the conclusion to whatever I like. I'm going to do that by clicking on the conclusion and selecting a new truth value. I'll make it false. So now I can change it to whatever I like without causing any conflict. Evidence statements modify the strength of argument steps, making them stronger or weaker. This is something you can play with in the edit mode, changing the truth value of different statements to see the effect on argument steps and on. So I'm now in the edit mode. You can see the edit buttons up here, and you can get into the edit mode by clicking edit graph at the end of any lesson. And I have an example here where there are two argument steps. This one is con, this one is pro. And I've arranged this so that the argument strengths are about the same. That means the pro and the con are in balance, and the truth value here is unknown. That's in the middle of the scale from true to false. But I can start adjusting this and get pretty much any value I want. So this evidence statement is weakening the pro argument if I make it true. So if I change this to true, this side of the argument becomes weak, and that tends to make this statement false. And I can bring that back into balance by making it false. And then the opposite is true if I just change that back. And I make this true, This removes the con argument, and now I need to change this truth value to be true. There's no more conflict. So depending on the truth values of these evidence statements, the conclusion can come out at a range of values. Try this for yourself. You can construct your own example using the edit graph function and play with the numbers, and you'll figure out how it works. That's the end of this training. Thanks for listening.